Hello and welcome to our coffee break segment with Jen Lowry. Jen, hey,
Hey, love you, Tish. Thank you so
I
much for
love you.
having me on here today.
Gosh, it's an honor having you here. It really is. First, I want you to tell everybody something about yourself. Who are you?
Well, I am a Christian. I am a mama. I'm a homeschool mama and a teacher in the public schools too. And I love writing. I've been writing books since I was in eighth grade. And since 2018, the journey with Sweet Potato Jones started, and the whirlwind of the author life just kicked off. And here I am today with 20 books later. So this is me.
Wow, that is amazing. Now, look, we have this. I don't know if y'all can see it, but it is Jen's latest release. Sweet Potato Jones. I'm just gonna move it around. Anyway, it's all on my social media and her webpage. Oh, that she got it. She got a copy of it. So I want you to go get your copy of Sweet Potato Jones. But we're gonna talk about it. Jen, how did you get inspired to write this story?
So with me, always with any book, it's just sitting in the front of the computer and having a blank page in front of me. I get that itch to write, and I know that it's going to come from somewhere. The Holy Spirit's going to be the one that's going to help me with the words. So with Sweet Potato, it was no different. And I can remember back in 2007 when I wrote this book, it was a very, very hard time for my family. And with me, writing is a way that I cope and I deal with things too. And it helps me to be able to process grief and hurt. And even in the editing phase, I went back in and added a few things with grief. Even after my mom had passed away in 2009. But in 2007, we were in the middle of a tough season for my family with my dad. And my dad passed away. And we had Jesus, we had music, and my mom loved American Idol. And she loved her some Jordan Sparks. I don't know if y'all remember that year. I am
I
dating
do.
myself, y'all. But my mama would call and call and call for Jordan Sparks, and so would I. And Jordan Sparks just came to me one day in this vision of a character, a 6 foot tall, beautiful girl, and it was a new story to tell. And it was about Sweet Potato, who she had lost her mom in a tragic way, and she was having to raise her siblings. And so when Sweet Potato came to me, I was pretty much shocked, like, oh, it's going to be that kind, because I had not had a lot of experience working within, like, in homeless shelters or homeless populations, but I did tons of research for the book. And it just shaped up to be one of the stories of my life. Like, this is one of my all-time just heartbeats of story, is Sweet Potato's story. And I will forever champion her because she was like our first, first.
That was a beautiful story. So, about the name, I know some people will say, well, why did she name it Sweet Potato Jones? How did you come up with the name?
It was crazy because when it came, I just imagined in the first chapter, I imagined this mama going through and putting up signs along the road for the farm stand where they would sell the vegetables. And so she had made a joke to her husband, Eli, and Marigold said, when we have children, we're going to name them in just this order. And so it was the way that the mama had put up the signs her whole life. And, of course, Sweet Potato was first, and then Maize was second. And then we have our Sweet Old Bean and Bell Pepper Jones. And so along the line, that's the way it worked. And the husband just went along with it just to, honor his wife's wishes. So Eli was always the one that would go along and go with the flow and never kind of, push any kind of thing. So that's where Sweet Potato came from.
Right. Now, if you was looking at people in real life, who would portray each of your characters, or the main characters? Who would portray Sweet Potato? We know Jordan Sparks for sure.
Yeah, but she's not 17 now. However,
right.
Hey, y'all know Jordan Sparks out there. Tell Jordan she can pick. Jordan can pick. So in my mind, I do not know who Maze would be. Like, I really can't. I can see Maze in my head, but I can't pick like an actor or a family member that would be Maze. But yeah. And Tish, you can disagree with me on this. I love it. We can have this discussion. But the minute that Miss Sunshine walked onto my page, it was Queen Latifah. Like, no doubt, it was her shining bright and all sass. And I was like, that is Queen Latifah. And maybe it was because, like, The Last Holiday was out. And you think about some of the movies that, you watch these actresses, and it was Hairspray, and then it was just, I don't know, it was the year for Queen Latifah for me, and she was right there showing up. But I've had two other people that have read the book that they say not Queen Latifah, that it's the same person too. Tish, who did you think?
But was it Delores? Yeah, from what was that? Walk with an Angel? Touched by an Angel. Yeah, that's who I saw initially. But when you start naming some of the movies of Queen Latifah, I forgot about that. And she was in a sitcom. What was that on primetime? Was Star on Fox TV not long ago. So yeah, I can see how you got her too. But I just love some Delores. I saw that. Miss Sunshine and Miss Delores. Sure did.
Another person said it was her Delores. They said that was the same person in their mind. So I love to hear what readers think about my characters and who could they see, portraying.
Right.
Like I never had a person for Ray. Like Ray was just this good-looking young man who just shone for the Lord, a champion for God. But I never had an image for Ray either. But it was always Jordan Sparks.
I thought about Michael Early. I don't know if he was in I forgot what show, but he is a pretty guy with pretty eyes and everything. The Eyes Was Watching Us or something like that. I forgot the name of it, but I thought about Michael Early for that role. He's the only one I thought, he can play that role really good. He is so pretty. I like it when you leave it open for the readers to also use their imagination and they can see who fit that particular role too. That was really good. The book was very good. It was very, it had a poetic flow. It was like, everything connected. That's what I loved about it. It was a family, a young family, a homeless family, which is something we are faced with in our society today. So what was it in particular about this family being homeless that really drew you to focus on that topic?
Well, they just showed up that way. That's the thing. It's not that I said, here are some topics, here are some things that we can explore in the book. It was just a family that showed up to me that carried around a bag and a flashlight so they could have their entertainment specials in the shelter or in the shed, wherever they were. And I just had to say, well, come on in. And I welcomed them into that page because I had not had any experiences, like I said, with a homeless family. Sweet Potato was the first. I have worked with students who have been in severe poverty. And we have in every school system a population of students who are homeless. And so you would never know by the smiles that they carry, by the face that they carry. And so I really hope that this book will touch the hearts of a lot of youth and make them just say, oh, wow, like this could be someone beside me. I need to be compassionate. I need to be mindful. what I say and how I approach the world. And that's why when they did get to the school, their first school of acceptance was in Newport News, Virginia. And when they found the dream, that school, that charter school, that was a perfect place for them to just fit in, where no questions were asked. No one looked at them in a sideways glance. Mays didn't get picked at, for the first time ever. And Sweet Potato honestly didn't know how to handle the school environment at that point, because it had been such a rocky climb for them in every school experience, because they had always been on the road for 10 years. They'd always been moving and shuffling around. As soon as questions started to rise up, social workers would want to get involved. Dad was scared the family would be split apart, so he would move them again. And so finally at Newport News, Sweet Potato actually kind of had a breakdown. Like, she had to go and go to the bathroom and just cry. Like, she couldn't understand, like, wait, we had a good day. The dad looked at her and was like, what's wrong? She was like, it was a good day. Because she actually got to feel that for the first time for her siblings. Because it was never about Sweet Potato, the whole story. It was all about everyone else. And then she got a chance to actually say, oh, I'm a part of this family too. I have feelings. I have these emotions. I can go after love. I'm worthy. And so it was an experience with Sweet Potato, just getting in, allowing her my headspace and just to be able to go there. It is emotional. I cried throughout the book. There were times where, and I didn't know and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I didn't know the ending.
Right.
And I was bawling and crying, y'all.
Oh, wow.
And you would think that I would have known, but because I was a pantser at that time and I never plotted anything back in the day, that wasn't my author style. I've changed a little bit now over all this time, but at the beginning I had no clue what was happening with that book, and I was so emotional. These characters felt so authentic and real for me. Like, they felt like a part of my family. I call her my girl. And when I think about my girl and I think about all the other books, it was like, let other books come, because she needs to have brothers and sisters on the shelf that are supporting her around her, and they need to squash her in. So, that's crazy to think of it that way, but that's honestly how I think of Sweet Potato. She's my girl.
Yeah, you can help but to fall in love with Sweet Potato. She was a strong, because I didn't know much about homeless. I see it on the street. I ordered a book for my 14-year-old to read it. So, because she's been so sheltered and didn't know much about the homeless, and they have a lot of homeless kids in her school. So I wanted her to see the difference. But Sweet Potato took on a big role, to a point that she was actually the mama, and she had to eventually learn how to separate that and just, like you say, be herself, which was wow. That's all I can say is wow.
That had become a part of her identity. Like, that's who she, at a young age, she had to step in. And then she had tremendous guilt about the way her mom died. Because, she always carried that with her. Like, could she have done something more? Her mama singing gospel hymns and then going down to the basement to find a place to use drugs. Like, didn't the dad know? Couldn't she had done more for her mom to keep her mom there? So it was, it was hard for Sweet Potato to actually pull herself. And it kind of took Ray, just like sometimes it takes wise counsel in our life, to say, look, you're the sister. They're going to be okay. We're going to look after them. We'll care for them, but you're the sister. And we've got to also take care of you. And sometimes we need people like that in our lives to step in and say, you've had a long road. Let's slow down a little and breathe. And then she can't breathe, because then more drama happens. Wait, what?
I know. I was thinking, oh, we're in the clear. And then there was something was like, it pulled on your heartstrings. I love it mainly because of the family unity. No matter what, they stuck together. The family, in spite of being homeless, was so strong, but the drama and the twist and the turns, it just pulls on your heartstring. It was just, wow. It was a very powerful, moving book. So, with that said, I want you to read maybe a couple of things out to the audience so they know exactly what we're talking about. Your favorite places in the book you want to share with us.
So y'all got to tell y'all that right before we came live, like seriously, like 2 minutes before we came live, Tish goes, "I'm going to have you read your favorite part." And so I went in and I was like, "Oh, where's that part? Where's that part?" I love so many parts about this book. Like, I can't even, it's so hard. I love so many things. And
I love
just
everything.
experiencing it in my hand right now, I'm in awe. Like, I'm such in shock. Thanks to Swoon Romance for believing in this story. I've got to give my publishing company a shout out right now, because not only did they believe in Sweet Potato, but my editor, my publisher, they have been amazing for the past 2 years getting this girl ready. She's ready, y'all. She's out there because of them. So the first chapter, to me, that is where I was raised. And I know that, authors may put parts of themselves in books. And there are parts of myself in Sweet Potato, her love of music and her fierce protectiveness and, of like how I'm protective over my nieces. I think about, so many pieces of myself throughout this book. But the part at the beginning is actually from my home. So I love that part, and I love that Robinson County was represented in the book. So this is the part, the helicopter circles, that's what I would be with my nieces. And I don't know if you guys ever played helicopter outside, but we would always find these little games to play in the yard. And so I was having this memory. So don't make me cry, Tish.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay. This is just page 1. Okay. So do you want me just, oh my gosh, I love it all. The grass prickles my bare feet as I spun the kids in helicopter circles. Individual sprigs like a spiky hairdo would tickle us as we fell softly together in our small backyard. We would lay back imagining cloud dragons and stare up at the Carolina blue sky. My heart swelled as I remembered sitting with Daddy on the front porch glider on Sundays at the old place. I'd stare across the railroad tracks and see the same exact water tower and the same exact burned-down mill. They're both probably still standing today, since around there, broken things aren't demolished to make way for something new. They're left in pieces to remind us how shattered we are. And that broken down mill is still standing there today.
That's beautiful.
Right in my front yard. And so that glider rocker is right there. And so that is me and my daddy's place. And so I had to put that in there because that's the time when I was going through that grief of losing my dad. And so, and so Eli, and y'all know I'm married to Eli, but that's not the same man. Y'all, listen, I ain't know this Eli back then. That's hilarious. But my daddy in here is Eli, and Eli Jones, takes care of the family and the best, I guess, that he can. I have mixed feelings about Eli. That's all I just want to say.
I did too, but he tried. He did more than what most men would do that we know of in our culture, put it that way. So he tried.
Mixed feelings. So there's another part about the book that I love. Now, the kissing trees, I got to write that, and I got to add that in. And the kissing trees is a poem that she finds that she wants to memorize. Now, I would love to be able to have been able to use poetry, Maya Angelou's poetry, but I wrote my own and stuck it in there. And I love that one. It actually was when I went out on a date. Y'all are hearing this for the first time. And we were under the kissing trees, and it was me and my husband now. And so I did get to include that in with edits. So I added, because before I had other poetry in its place that I wanted to use lines for. But I got to rewrite my own. So Kissing Trees is actually one for my husband. Another song in here that I love that I have been singing for years is a song that I wrote early on, and it's called Lord, There's a Harvest. And this song, it reminds me of my uncle, because my Uncle Bobby was someone who could just start on the street testifying, and he would meet strangers and they would come to Jesus. And he always looked at him going to the Goodwill or him going to Harris Teeter or him going to Belk or the gas station as a place to speak the name of the Lord. And so this song is for my Uncle Bobby. So this one, okay. I don't know if I can, So
you can do it. You can do it.
Love Uncle Bobby, y'all. So knowing that this song, so it's Lord, there's a harvest, souls aplenty. Lord, can't you hear them crying out to you, falling at your feet, begging for your mercy? Lord, why don't you come see about me? I am part of your harvest too. Fill me up, Lord, and I'll be a laborer for you. Because he was truly a laborer for the Lord. And he saw everyone in as a child of God and would reach out to everybody. And so many people came to Jesus because of just his bold personality and testimony on the street. Just meet the stranger. People would say, hey, how you doing? And the next thing I know, Uncle Bobby's talking to them about what Jesus had done for him. And then he'd say, do you know Jesus? And they would say, no, I've fallen away. And he would say, well, let's bring you right back right now. And he would save people right there, or not him, but the Holy Spirit would save people right there on the street, y'all. I love me some Uncle Bobby. And so
I do too.
That song is playing, and Uncle Bobby's Aunt Dot's brother, y'all. So y'all know my Aunt Dot. Let's just talk about my Aunt Dot a second.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, that's my mama's brother. So this song I love. Lord, there's a harvest, souls aplenty. And I have the whole song. I didn't put the whole song in here, but I have written the entire song, the verses, the chorus, the bridge, and everything. And that's going to be released soon. But
that's going to be nice.
But I love it. And they play it in the soul food restaurant. You know how that song will keep coming on the radio?
Right.
So you just hear it throughout the day. And so Sweet Potato goes home and she's like, y'all going to hear this one. Because if you're at the soul food, it's going to come on the radio. And then she actually sings it to them in the shelter when they do the flash. I love the flashlight scenes, Tish, where
I do too. Yeah. That's nothing about this book I didn't like. I loved everything. Everything.
The flashlight scenes are special for me because it's not always about electronics. It's not always about how do families spend time together. They don't always have to watch a movie together. They can have a flashlight show. And that's how they built their entertainment, because they didn't have internet, cable, game boxes. They didn't have electricity. Many times they would live in abandoned homes, abandoned depot, They didn't have places. And so they found a way. And a lot of it was around either cracking jokes and being a comedian because he wanted to be a stand-up comic, or it was them singing gospel songs that they had written, or old gospel hymns from my grandma's church. So I had to put that in there too. I got one more, Tish. You want me to read this one?
Oh, yes, do.
So this is during the date scene. And I'm going to tell you guys that I love some rain. And if you read any of the books that I write, my male characters, they're strong in the Lord. They want what's best for their love. They are stand up, integrity, honest, caring. And I want to show girls that there are men like that in the world. And just to have faith, and just to slow down, and just to put God first, and the Lord will find you a match for you. And so my men in all my books, whether it's Offbeat or the Hartwell Chronicles, Teenage Exorcist, you're talking Tyler Locklear will fight demons for Victoria. But, they're all such wonderful, godly young men. And I want that to be shown in all of my books too. So, okay, so I love this part. So they're dancing and they get quiet. And Hallelujah is playing. I love that song. I don't know if y'all like that one, but I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when a farmer is working, he's content to hear the sounds the earth makes under the tiller, the way the seeds seem to crackle against the ground, the way birds fill the air above. That was us, just listening to the world we were creating together. And to me, just having that time of quiet, yet something's growing in the quiet. Meaning you don't always have to be loud for something to be impactful and powerful. You can have these quiet moments between budding relationships that mean more than 1,000 words. And that one is Ray and Sweet Potato. And they just, not only did they kind of hit it off from the start, but it was a God thing. Their relationship was meant to be. It was a God thing. And so I love that one. I love that part because it's not always about the words, beautiful, but the heart connection that you have with other people too.
That was beautiful. I just loved everything. You can't help but to love Ray. He was just wonderful. So I asked those who attend, if y'all have any questions you want to ask Jen before we wrap it up, but be sure to check out the link in the description. It will take you to her website. Also, it will take you where you can purchase Sweet Potato Jones, and I highly recommend you get a copy. Get a copy, share it with your friends and with your children, your young teens and your young adults. They will love it. So we have a few in. Rachel said hello. We welcome Rachel. Let me find Rachel. And Ann showed up today. Oh, but Ann tried to put you on the spot.
Oh, Ann. I was about to Lord, there's a harvest over plenty. Yeah, that's a crying song, Ann. You just want me to start crying on the podcast today, on the interview. It's coming, Ann.
Yeah, it is. So, Jen, is there anything else you want to share with everyone about Sweet Potato Jones and how to reach you?
First, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has just prayed for me over the course of these past 2 years. I've had a Sparrow launch team who have been like my inner circle of supporters that have really been praying for me and praying for Sweet Potato's launch and just her release. But I want to thank everyone else too who has the open heart to read. And I just pray that the Lord touches you in some way through the pages of this book, and we can be a little bit more like Miss Sunshine to other people in the world. And so, to me, just be the light. Just be a light. And through Sweet Potato, through Miss Sunshine, and how Sweet Potato is with her family, just the whole experience for me. It is truly an experience, this novel. And I just pray that it opens eyes and touches hearts. So pray that prayer for me too. So that's what I'd love to say. And at Jen Lowry Writes is where you can reach out to me. And if you're reading the book, I'd love to hear from you. JenLowryWrites@gmail.com. And just stay up on social media. We're having the paint party at the end of the month. The name of the restaurant in the book is called Soul Food Restaurant. And that is Mrs. Sunshine and Joe's place. The Sunshine Patterson and Joe Patterson. That's Ray's mama and daddy. So in honor of Miss Sunshine, I started the Soul Food Book Club. And so right now we're reading The Lord of the Rings. And then we're going to move to Sweet Potato Jones because I'm still in shock that I can hold it in my hand. And I want to actually read the book. But so we're having a virtual paint party to where my son wants to paint the Lord of the Rings stuff. He does not want to paint girly flower sweet potato. So I doubled it up so Sam's gonna be painting, we're all gonna be just kind of hanging out with everybody and just painting and drawing and just hoping that we can have other people join in. But so we always have something going on every month around social media. So, and thank you, Tish, for being so
thank you
of me and letting me come on the show today and talk about my girl.
Yeah, we adopted her as our girl now. Can't help but to love Sweet Potato Jones. I love it.
Nice,
the cover is so beautiful. Jen, we just want to thank you for joining us and giving us your time today. Happy Labor Day to everyone. And be sure to follow Jen on YouTube, and the links are listed below in the description. Make sure you get that book because you will not regret it. Until our next coffee break, you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.